Well, guys, we're so happy to be here. We love this very intimate group, very small group. Just wonderful. So we can, get chatting away, talking.
And more questions in. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So questions away. Go ahead.
Yeah, go, girl.
Julianne, how do you stay so positive sitting next to Len?
Well, it beats the alternative, which is grumpy old Julianne. So, you know what? It's actually so fun because Len, I've known since I was 10, Derek was 13, because he used to judge and coach and stuff back when we lived in London. And so when I was on the show as a dancer, I'd always be like, oh, he's just so grumpy, and I can never get a 10 from Len. And like now that I sit next to him, it's fun because like we all kind of have our own roles. And almost like characters, it's definitely who we are, but we definitely play into it for sure. And his is definitely that like sour approach.
Well, what made me laugh is somebody said like, well, you know if you could dance if you get a 10 from Len. I'm like, well, kind of.
And then, Carrie Ann, she's the lift police, and Bruno, I just have to watch out so I don't get smacked in the head or pulled down to the ground with him. But, it almost becomes sort of like a little bit of an entertainment show for us too, being out there like a performance. So it's kind of fun. I don't know, I love it.
What's actually interesting, the original Len Goodman, because the original show started in England called Strictly Ballroom.
Back when we were.
Oh, sorry, Strictly Come Dancing. Sorry, yeah. It's the first of there's 48 different versions of Dancing with the Stars around the world. Did you know that?
I know.
All over the world, like Australia, Germany, Italy, Spain. There's but it's so in England where it originated, Len has left the show. And it's been replaced by Shirley's mother.
Yes.
Who
trained us?
Who trained us?
Mark Ballas.
Mark Ballas, his mom, Shirley Ballas, was like one of the most iconic female Latin dancers of all time. And now she's become the new head judge of the original show, Dancing with the Stars, in England, taking over from Len. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's kind of cute too, because she actually texted me the other day. She goes, I used to, give you tips and everything growing up. She's like, but can you give me a couple? It was really sweet.
And you guys can go ahead.
Yeah?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to say I'm so happy you're doing this tour. I'm speaking for everybody else because we went to 1 and 2 and we kind of had Julianne and Derek withdraw last summer.
Yes!
But this is kind of a two-part question. I know, Derek, you're getting ready for this World Dance, which we're so excited about. I'm just wondering, one other things that you're probably doing, because I've heard rumblings about you doing Singing in the Rain on Broadway. And then Julianne, we know that you're doing the tour and going back and forth to dancing and getting ready for a wedding.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering what's in your future. I mean, we know you've done Hairspray, we know you've done Grease. And what else, Derek, if you're going to go back to Dancing with the Stars maybe again?
So, to answer a few of those real fast, the World of Dance exciting is coming up in 2 weeks. It's a great show. You should tune in, 10 o'clock. NBC. It's a great show. I actually watched the first episode yesterday. It's amazing. It looks phenomenal. So good. And yes, the only reason why we're doing this tour is so Julianne can get into wedding shape. I'm just kidding. It's actually funny. She said it. She's like, oh yeah, and I want to be in great shape for my wedding.
Strategically planned. That's pretty great.
Yeah. But Singing in the Rain's been postponed just because the production company are rethinking their theatrical department. And it's like, come on the back burner a little bit. So, but we'll see. Broadway is not going anywhere, and it's definitely on the list for both Julianne and I to do eventually. So,
bucket list for sure.
Yes, that will happen.
Any chance of going back to dancing for you?
Me going back? I have no plans right now in the near future, but you never know. My relationship with BBC and ABC and Dancing with the Stars and the whole team, they're like my family, and doing this new show it's been very supported. And I have great, the door's always open, so I'll never say never, ever. And I'll always be a positive ambassador for that show, as much as I can.
And I'm going to be focusing more on my acting again. I took a few years off to do the tour and go back to Dancing with the Stars, and I saw La La Land in January, and we saw it actually together. Came home and like I probably cried for like 3 days, just like to Derek, and he was comforting me. I was like, I think I need to like really live my passion, and I was like, I feel like I've missed out a little bit and like haven't been focused on my acting, and I really want to do that. So after the tour, I'm really going to focus, going back in on my acting. So
that's good. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for Julianne. Julianne, you're a singer, dancer, actress to all us fans, but you're also a daughter, a sister, an aunt, and pretty soon you're going to be a husband. You're going to be a wife, and then someday a mom. How are the last 2 roles going to affect all the other ones?
Wow, that's a really good question. That's the first time I've had that question. You know what? It's going to affect everything. I mean, this is, I've been dreaming about becoming a wife and a mom my whole life, and like, it's kind of crazy. I still feel like I'm 10, so I'm like, I'm not old enough to get married and have babies. What are you talking about? But then I'm like, but my ovaries are old enough. So every time I see a baby, I'm like, my ovaries are screaming. They're like, yes, get a baby. But it's so cute. Oh my gosh.
This is what I have to feel about like 4 sisters.
But
I used to do to my life, guys.
But I think to answer your question, I think it's gonna, it's gonna affect my career because I'm gonna make certain choices based off of, my new life, I guess. But it's also kind of not, like I'm marrying somebody who is so supportive of everything that I love and passionate about that. We can still just be us and be one now, so it's kind of great.
Yeah. Yes, the back.
So first of all,
I got my wisdom tooth out now, by the way.
You
I did.
Oh,
Right, here's you. All right.
so first of all, we're so happy to be here. This is a wonderful Mother's Day weekend for me.
Yay. Which, by the way, happy Mother's Day to everyone who is a mother.
And I'm a 6-year-old who's very interested in dancing and video. So I want to ask you guys, like, where would I start? Who do I go to? Can I call Mark Allen's mom? Who I can get started with?
Well, I mean, it just depends. I mean, where you live and like, right? Well, obviously here. Where do you live? Looking at your local community, and seeing what dance, studios are available, but also not just like the local ones, like the bigger ones as well. I think it depends on what they want to do, your daughter wants to do. There's, that's right. Son, even better. We need more dancers. And I think just getting, finding the right teachers, right mentors, just like in school, any other school. Because I know for me, that's what was the deciding factor, is I found sort of a family within a studio that became like my family, my mentors, who I looked up to, my friends, it was like its own community. It was like separate to everything else. And it really was something that I loved and thrived in, and then I got into competitions, and that gave me, what's great about competitions is it gives you clear goals, and short-term goals. It's like, I got a competition in 2 weeks, I gotta get ready for that. And when you have a clear vision and a clear, place where you want to be, it's amazing how you start to improve more. Because otherwise, sometimes you're just kind of like doing a lesson, but you're not really sure what it's for. So with something with competition, it gives you like deadline. Same with Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars was a huge lesson for me personally how to choreograph, because I'm so indecisive. I've been choreographed for a year and doing 30 seconds of this, I'm like, maybe I should change it, maybe I should change it. But Dancing with the Stars is like, you have to do it. And so, I don't know, my advice would be just good mentors, good people, surround yourself with good people, I think. And just I think just look it up and look where you are and what community, where you are, so, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've probably been asked this before, but when you were on Dancing with the Stars, Derek, and you were dubbing, did that feel weird?
It didn't feel weird at all, actually.
No. I judge him every day.
Yeah. it did feel weird because because when you're judging, it's not like I'm speaking on behalf of the judge, but like I feel like they're not necessarily judging us. It's like judging, you know, the celebrity and their personal best. And I don't know. I didn't really. There was only one time I went home and I was like, a 7, Julianne? Really? Come on. But really, but yeah, it never really felt weird.
And I always feel too, you know, like, obviously he's my brother, Mark is basically my brother as well. I taught Whitney, Jenna, and Lindsay when they were kids, so they're like my students. You know, I obviously competed against Val, you know, so there's so many people that I'm so close with that, you know, if it was biased because my brother was there, it would also be biased for everybody else because I love them, you know. Sasha and Emma are some of my best friends, and so, you know, like, anyway, so for me, I never really see the pro on their own. It's always as a couple and the personal best, like Derek said, of the celebrity and their growth. And I think that they...
I didn't think it was a disadvantage for me. I was like...
but no, the 7 thing, okay, so I have to be honest. So sometimes it's hard because I think you were first, right? I think you were first out. And sometimes when you're first, we tend to like be a little bit lower because we don't know what we're seeing next. And sometimes you look back and you're like, man, that number at the beginning maybe
trust me, I know. I know, I'm like, dang it, we're first tonight.
Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to go first because we're trying to keep our expectations kind of low so there's somewhere to go. And then we realize, oh man, they might have been a little bit better. So, anything else?
Couple more guys, couple more.
Do you prefer to dance the salsa or eat salsa?
Dance the salsa or eat the salsa?
Oh man, I like to do both.
That's a really tough question.
Simultaneously, I'm like, I don't know, I may or may not have salsa last night.
I was just gonna say, we woke up on the bus and there was like chips and salsa that was new, but opened. And he stopped at the truck stop in the middle of somewhere last night and bought it.
I had craving.
At like 3 o'clock in the morning.
I had craving.
But no, we love salsa.
We love it. Well, but to answer your question, it's impossible to answer. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm flying to London for the first time.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, do you guys have any recommendations of like what I must do, like what show I should see?
Yes, London, first of all, amazing city, we lived there for so long. What's funny is that I never went to the British Museum for like 7 years, and I went to school 2 blocks away from it. And my dad was like, Derek, it's free, it's amazing, why are you not going there? You guys so mad at me. And I finally went, and I was like, oh my gosh, it is unbelievable. Go to the British Museum, go to all museums, Tate Modern.
Go to Covent Garden and go and walk around. I mean, they've got like the cobblestone streets and the little pubs.
What's
and
wonderful about
stores.
London is you can just walk everywhere, or get a tube everywhere. You just walk around, and you just,
Hyde Park is beautiful. I remember my first ever.
Don't go to King's Cross Station. Like, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, but if you go to King's Cross Station, like, why? Don't go there, okay? It's awful. Yeah, don't go there. Unless you have to get to where you need to go. But don't go there because you're like, oh, go look at this, because it's in the books. No.
We went to a school there, Italian Conti, and right across the street they have the best bagel shop in the world. And we did a sausage bagel with brown sauce on it and a cup of tea.
We probably thought it was good. It's probably disgusting.
No,
But we thought it was good.
every time I go back to London, I always go there.
Okay.
It's so good.
You slip into your accent?
Yes, go
I
ahead.
do. Yeah.
As for who wins Dancing with the Stars, do y'all like to see someone with no dance experience, such as David Ross, win, or someone like Simone Biles or the backup dancer for Beyonce? Do you like seeing people like that win? Do you have a preference?
You know, it's not about necessarily dance experience, stuff like that. To me, it's finding a connection. I think that when I feel connected to somebody that I want to root for, that's who I'm rooting for. I think that they can be a good dancer, they can dance for Beyonce, but if I'm not connected to them, I'm not going to root for them. So for me, there's a couple that stand out for sure, like David Ross. Like there's something about him that you want him to be there. And he's not the best dancer. He'll be the first person to say that.
He makes me smile.
But yeah, he enjoys the journey, and like we feel like we're on the journey with him. You know?
He's so committed, and I'm like, you go, bro, you go.
But that's the thing. You feel like you're committed and you're on the journey with him, and then you know, I mean, then there's Simone, who's unbelievable, and you have so many high expectations for her because you know how great she is. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to see more because I know there's more there.
I've always done that in the past. Like when I've had,
hard.
yeah, gymnastics for me personally has been interesting because you have people who have expectations, you know, and you have to go beyond them somehow. And it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
If anybody else does backflip and you'd be like, holy crap, that was so amazing.
Yeah.
Because you don't expect it. But because you expect it from her, you want to see something new.
And a lot of times, gymnastics passes, it's not just it's not the physicality, it's the heart, it's the emotion. That's what's different.
Who are you rooting for?
David Ross.
For David
Ross? By the way, I'm glad you are. I love that because I haven't been following the show like completely. I've just been watching little snippets and bits and pieces. And this last Monday, I went and watched the show from beginning, and I was watching it in its entirety. And I was like, I love this David Ross guy. I cried for the first dance. He just seems so genuine, and I just thought.
Well, and I'll tell you one more thing about him too that I really like is their partnership. You know, I think that it can get really hard, and when people start taking it really seriously, like we have to win and stuff, there's tension between the partnerships, and I felt that big time with everybody last week. I didn't really comment on it because they give you 30 seconds to talk, and so I'm like, I didn't get that in. But the one thing about their partnership is they've always felt like it's day one, and they're fresh, and their chemistry and their joy of just being there is so like lovely, you know, and so that's one thing that I really like about that couple too. But, yeah.
My wife and I have been following your careers for many years. Obviously, you're both really talented, beautiful people, but what we feel like really sets you apart is your personality. Really genuine, kind, just really fun people. And when you came out here, before you came out, we were told about the hectic schedules that you have, how many shows, all the things you have going on in your life. And you're smiling, you're beaming. So my question is, how do you, despite all the things you're doing, keep your mental stamina and your physical stamina?
How do you keep our stamina with all the things we're doing? Well, thank you very much for those comments. Thank you very kind of you. Thank you. I think a couple things. One is we definitely have a work ethic that was instilled in us quite young when we competed in London, traveling around the world, dance lessons, you know, all those different things. But also, you know, staying grateful. You know, I think that's really we're grateful to be here. We're grateful to be able to be dancing for you and performing for you, and we're grateful to be busy. And there's the old expression, you know, if you want something done, give it to somebody who's busy. You know, because it creates momentum. It's like one thing feeds the other. And also, too, just demanding it from ourselves. Because sometimes we wake up and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I got one in me. You know, but then what you can do is you can change your state. You can change the way you feel. And the fastest way to do that is with your body. You know, I'll do that. Like after we go here, I'll go to my room, I'm gonna blast the music really loud.
Sometimes it's rock music, and I'm like, can you turn that off? It's not hyping me up.
But I'll turn it up, and I'm dancing around, and I'm moving around in my dressing room, I'm hyping myself up, and the way that literally all the fatigue and the tiredness, whatever I'm feeling, it disappears. You know what I mean? It's like commanded. You know, and that's the thing is, it's just like a muscle. It's like any other muscle, right? If you strengthen something enough, if you call upon it, it'll come every time. You know what I mean? So for me, I can call upon this other energy, if you will, because it's like rehearsed almost. It's conditioning.
And also, and to kind of, I completely agree with everything Derek's saying, but also like we have our crew and everybody that works so hard, and I mean they get up before we get up to set this stage up. They're downstairs washing our costumes. They are cooking food for us. we get to kind of sleep in the morning. I mean, yes, we're sweating physically on stage and dancing and performing, and we get the glory, but everybody else is working so hard. And then at the same time, you know, you guys give us energy. We could sit here and do this show by ourselves and give 100%, but then there's something different and magical that happens when you guys are in the room, and like we get like an extra 100%, and like we feed off of you. So it's because we get a lot from you guys.
Absolutely, so
yeah.
true, so true.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh.
We both at the same time.
Just a comment on this, because you know I've seen you quite often, and every time you're just amazing. There is something captivating. There is something. I always have the feeling you perform just for me, and it doesn't matter whether I'm up front or in the back. It's just amazing every single time.
Thank you, baby. Thank you so much. Well, we try.
Well, and we get so excited when we see your face, and when we see your face, Morgan, and then, you know, like your faces, I recognize you guys. I mean, it's so special to us when we get to, you know, and your sisters over there, you know, like when we see you guys again, you know, like that's so special for us. So thank you for continuing to come.
Yeah. I read your book, and I laughed, I cried, I was inspired, and I was just wondering how that experience of writing that book affected you, because it was very powerful.
Thank you very much. You know, writing the book was very cathartic, and also me being not, honestly, truthfully, going to be at theater art school wasn't the best, like, you know, in English. So I definitely had somebody who helped me with that. But actually telling stories, calling upon, you know, polishing old memories, and bringing them back to life, and then thinking like, wow, what did I learn from that? And it put a lot of things into perspective, and also showed me how far I had come. Because sometimes we forget that. You know, I know for me personally, I'm pretty hard on myself. I can be, and forget to sort of celebrate. But
yeah, sorry, I have one thing. My fiance always says to me, I have to save myself. I have to save my girlfriend from my girlfriend. And I sometimes have to save my brother from my brother because he's so hard on himself too. So,
yeah, but I think sometimes that's the perfectionism thing. And I think I mentioned that in the book, because everything's gonna be perfect, you know, and I used to pride myself on that. Like you know, it's gonna be like perfect. And then I realized, and I actually heard this, you know, from someone that, you know, perfectionism is the lowest standard you can have. It's the lowest standard you can have because it doesn't exist. And so therefore, if you constantly are striving for perfectionism, you're always going to be disappointed because it's this, not that. And so it's really trying to find the perfection in these small things, in the little things, in the beauty, and in the imperfections. And for me, that was a big turning point for me. And in the book, that was one of the things that kind of came to light for me. You know, and to be able to share it, to be able to share stories, and to get some clarity as well about myself through some of my own past experiences were really, really helpful. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And guys, thank you so much. Again, we were so excited to be here tonight.